What are you at height and weight rise like right now?
So I'm at 6'5" and I'm like 338, 336.
How would you describe yourself as a player on the field?
On the field, I'm pretty locked in. It's rare for me to get kind of caught off guard, but I'd like to say I play with a little chip on my shoulder.
What were some of your most memorable games this season?
Best game I had this year was probably the Corner Canyon game. I was balling that game because the game before I had an iffy game against View. Like we still won against those guys, but I had like some mental mistakes I had that game. But to have like a bounce back game, I feel like those are the ones that are the most memorable for me. So
Let's talk about your recruiting process now, man. You're committed and signed with Virginia. You're repping the hat right there. But what made Virginia the school for you?
the new head coach, Coach Elliott from Clemson, came in, and I feel like Coach 2J is the O-line coach over there. He made it easy for me to make that choice because he's like he was like close to me. Like we're like the same person pretty much. And the way he coaches, he brings a lot of hype to the field, and I like a coach that brings hype to the field. So it's just good. Our energies match and stuff like that. So it was a no-brainer at that point, you know.
So besides Virginia, though, what other schools were you really interested in throughout your recruiting process?
I'd have to say BYU was up there. Coach Darryl Funk over there. He's a great coach over there. Syracuse was in the mix. Central Michigan and Jackson State. I feel like those were my tops right there before I made my decision to Virginia.
Would you say the recruiting process was like stressful for you at all, or did you enjoy all of it?
I feel like it was a blessing. A student athlete would tell you, you know, getting recruited probably had to be the biggest thing for him, and I stand with that. You know, being recruited by all these coaches, it was a game. It was different. You know, being loved by some coaches, some college coaches, because I've never been through it before, and to be the first one in my family to get like some offers like this, it was pretty huge, and I got to represent my family pretty well. So it was huge. I loved it all. There was nothing stressful about it at all.
What was your favorite part of the recruiting process?
Receiving my first offer that day, it was pretty big. I was like doing some schoolwork, and then all of a sudden I hopped on a call with Colorado State, and to receive that first offer, working so hard to get to this point and to finally get recognized with that first offer, it was a blessing for me and my family. So
What NFL or college offensive guards or offensive linemen really do you like watching or modeling your game around?
I'd have to say Quentin Nelson. He's a dog for the Colts. He fires out the ball pretty low, and he's always the low man. And another offensive lineman that holds it down out there is Tristan Wirfs, the tackle for the Bucks. He has amazing feet for how big he is, so that's kind of where I try to model my game. And I'd say one more person that I watch a lot is Panay Sewell, being Samoan and me being Samoan as well. I had to. It was automatic for me to follow him ever since he's been in high school. So I try to pick up on the way he moves and stuff like that. So I'd say Panay and those guys are a bunch of dogs. So
What's a part of your game that you take pride in?
I take a lot of pride in my pass blocks. I try to be because the more time I can give my QB to make those plays, and I have an amazing QB over here at Skyridge. So the more time I could have gave him, the more highlights we could have made it on. So
What's a part of your game that you feel you might need to improve on?
my run blocks for sure, and climbing up to the second level.
Speaking of Utah football, talk about Utah high school football as a whole. It's a competitive state, of course, but what comes to mind when you think about that?
When I think of Utah football, I think of family. Like we're united pretty well out here, and not a lot of people think of Utah football when it comes to being like those high-ranked players. But I feel like we're giving them a wake-up call this next year. You know, with us 22 classes going out there, I feel like we're to show them that Utah ball is, pretty slept on. They need to check it out here.
So, what's your favorite place you'd say you've ever played, like stadium-wise?
It was nice to play at Rice Cycle Stadium this year. Growing up, I've always been a Utah fan. My older brother played there, and I just fell in love with Utah football growing up. And to play there, it was pretty cool.
If you weren't playing football, what sport would you want to play?
I'd say golf. Man, you ain't got to run for golf. You know what I'm saying? Like golf, all those guys got to do is you got to work on, aiming in. You don't have to worry about their condition. They can just drive everywhere in those nice golf carts. So I would have to say golf.
Yeah, of course. What's your favorite food?
Food, man, I love sushi. That's a quick one. That's a no-brainer for those who know me, it's sushi all the way. So
If you had to give some advice to a kid that's trying to do the same thing as you know, go to college and play football, what would you tell him?
take pride with the off season. The off season, that's where you can get your body right. That's where you can get where you can go to camps. Another big thing is to try to go as many camps as you can. As much exposure, more exposure is better than no exposure. So the more camps you can go to, the more looks you can get out there. And for offensive linemen, I'd have to say just work on your technique. Technique can save you. I feel like school is more important sometimes than football. Without the schooling, you can't get recruited. So
Who would you say your role model is if you have one?
I'd have to pick my older brother. I know I keep bringing him up, but that guy, he's a beast in high school and a beast in college, and he showed me the reps and showed me what a baller's supposed to look like. So I'd have to say that guy's my role model for sure.